margin of error. I'm getting a report from LGN that we have no audio currently on YouTube.
Yes, and that's my fault. We've been that's my issue actually. We've been having some severe technical difficulties, fans, and so I do want to thank all of you for your patience. For whatever reason, nothing wanted to cooperate with my computer really today, and so we're kind of trying to get this guy going on the fly, but we seem to have rectified the most of it. You see the overlay is finally there. The graphics are finally good. We finally got sound going here in a minute. The paints are going to pop up, and when they do, we're going to see 80 laps of tremendous action here at Pocono. Oh no, Clindy or I just hit the turn 3 wall.
That's how we ended up in the booth.
we just hit the wall and carried right down to the pit lane, parked it, and wound up in the booth because Gary put us there so we wouldn't wreck any more of his cars. Here they come off of what turn 4? Matt Hollybaugh messaged me today that said he is a 5-turn truther here. There is no such thing as 5 turns here at Pocono. There are 3. The race is on. Marco Brazil jumps into the lead. Jesper Orman second. He's going to be followed closely around by Nick Sudik, Alexander Miller, and Andrew Wood as they steam through turn number 1, Clindy.
Very orderly here. A lot of the competitors chose to say 2x2 rather than fanning out 4 and 5 wide, which you will see on subsequent restarts later today. On these long straightaways, some of the longest on the service.
They are some of the longest on the service, Clindy. The other thing that you got to be careful for here, the tunnel turn gets really narrow. It looks like you can make it 3 wide through there. I assure you, you cannot. And you're going to see, as you see there, pretty much every line is available through turn number 3. You will see everything from all the way at the top to all the way right around the bottom of the rumble strips. You're watching Jesper Orman. He's trying to take the fight to Marco Brazil at the front. Are these two old friends going to work together? Or are they going to fight hard? There goes Jesper. He's going to go by into the lead going into the tunnel, Clindy.
We'll see if Marco plays nicely. If Marco continues to swap with Jesper, they're going to walk away from this field. I've driven that car that Jesper's in. That setup is lightning fast. It has one Achilles heel, and I hope it won't bite Jesper tonight, but he is my pick tonight to dominate this race.
Yeah, Jesper always shows up with some fast cars here at Pocono. Marco Brazil, traditionally extremely fast. And if you can get the front 2 hooked up in a draft here, you can waltz away. Fuel really shouldn't be an issue here. The window anywhere from 28 to 32, 33 laps. And so that doesn't lend itself for a fuel race. Nobody's going to be able to one-stop this. So it doesn't lend itself to a fuel race, Clindy. But what is important is when you pit and with whom.
Absolutely. You want to find your dancing partner early, and it looks like Orman and Brazil have teamed up. Let's see if Sudik finds help from the likes of Alex Miller behind him or Andrew Wood, and they'll bring the fight to the front 2 all throughout the 70 or the 80 laps we have this evening.
Yeah, Andrew Wood just sets the fastest lap. He goes purple. We'll go ahead and get the aforementioned cantankerous overlay up here so you guys can see it. There is the top 20. Jason Brennan has already retired from the event. He is on pit lane and has been so for 2.5 minutes, and so Brennan has already punched out. Jim Wallen now will do the same, it appears. Or is he just blinked out there, Clindy?
I still have him on my screen. iRacing's been weird recently with connection stuff like that, so hopefully all our competitors are still on track.
Hopefully so. There he is. There's Jim Wallen. He pops right back up. Jason Brennan still not found. Do you have Brennan at all?
Yes, I have Brennan. He's currently entering turn 1, well behind the field, about 11 seconds back.
Gotcha. There he
is. He pit on lap 1, is my overlay is saying, or he maybe started from the pits.
That would be a pit start. We are seeing significant connection issues, I think, between my timing and scoring and the drivers on the field. So most certainly appreciate everybody's patience.
Yeah, Fans at home, I assure you, Jesper Orman is leading the race, or in the lead, not in 20th, as the overlay sometimes will erroneously show.
Yeah, there's some funkiness going on with the iRacing servers, and we definitely appreciate your patience. Meanwhile, Marco Brazil and Jesper Orman continue to swap the lead. Looking a little bit further back, though, you're going to have a battle there, third, fourth, and fifth. That's Nick Sudik. Andrew Wood almost in the wall. He is followed closely by Alexander Miller, and Matt Hollybaugh has snuck his way up into that battle. He's the next car in line in 6. You see him fan out through turn number 3. One of the things that we did want to point out, this is Championship Monday. Kevin Burrell is really the only championship contender that you have in this race. And there's Kevin. But the fight for the second division, for those of you who don't know, iRacing is split into divisions. There's the overall championship, and then divisions 1 through 10 as it divides you up based upon iRating. And we'll focus on Kevin Burrell here for a second because he is one of the championship leaders in terms of the overall. You take your best 8 weeks out of 12, and that's how they calculate it up. Kevin currently sits second in that battle, but the guy in front of him, or the guy in front of Sam Carosella, rather, his teammate, the two Fiercely Ford cars, that's the All-American iRacers entry of Matt Hollybaugh. Hollybaugh is in a fight, Clindy, for the second division. The top 3 there separated by, 30 points?
30 points between him and Logan Edwards. By my napkin math and this strength of field, I would imagine that Hollybaugh needs to beat Edwards by about 4 spots today to make sure that he's going to have a good cushion of points throughout the week. We're not going to see a strength of field higher than this until maybe this weekend. So if Hollybaugh does get the job done today, he's going to have to sweat it out all week long, hoping that Edwards does not find his way to victory lane in a higher strength of field.
Yeah, and it would be very odd to see a higher strength of field even on Saturday. I don't know that you're going to see a bigger one than this. What are we at now, Clindy? 4 something?
The strength of field in this rate is 4,200 iRating strength of field.
Yeah, so typically the race is on Saturday for those of you who don't know how the iRacing system works. Andrew Wood has gotten by Nick Sudik, so Wood is now second, and he's looking for Marco Brazil. We've got some Andrew Wood fans in the chat, and we're going to show the power slide entry as he works up toward Jesper Orman and Marco Brazil, who continue to swap that lead. A little bit further back in the pack, you've got Jason Brophy, Logan Edwards, we talked about him, Robin Glakis, Uncle Rob is back there too. They're kind of sitting, they're not really charging forward all that much. But Brophy, a well-known high-profile super speedway racer, Pro Series guy, Brophy looking to bring it to the front as well.
Yeah, I know that Brophy and the power slide guys love to conserve fuel and perform overcuts and have light tanks later in the run when the tires are fresh. Brophy here now making a move. I believe he just went by. Oh boy,
that was awfully close there, Clindy.
Too close for comfort for some. David Hanger saying, "Hey, Jason, good job."
Yeah.
And Brophy now goes to work on Miss Excitement herself. Oh, hey, Olivia Hayward.
Yeah, we're going to follow Jason Brophy because he is definitely marching toward the front. He's got Maddie Sinclair right in front of. Oh, hey, he's going to make the clearance on Olivia going into turn number 2. That's the tunnel turn, and they head toward turn 3. And watch just how wide these guys get. Didn't want that view, but we do want this one. So that's right out the helmet of Jason Brophy. And the reason I show you guys this is I want to impress on everybody as we look at his left eyeball there, just how many different lines there are around this racetrack riding with Jason Brophy as he's hunting clean air.
In turn 1, there's definitely 3 lanes, maybe 4 if you're lucky. Turn 2, you get 2.5 lanes maximum. And then in turn 3, you've got just about 5. You can go everywhere you want in turn 3. The most important part is that you find clean air on your front winglets.
It is, and you also need to find a draft when you make the exit. So here's Brophy riding along 230 miles an hour down this down the straightaway into turn 3. You see him go low. Sinclair takes, I'd call that lane 3.5. And Brophy is going to follow in the draft. Now watch for the big number coming down here toward turn 1, Clindy.
233s where Brophy maxes out before he lifts to get to the yellow line, and now he dials up Kevin Burrell to be his next victim.
He does indeed. So there's Jason Brophy. He has moved it up to 10th. Brophy, just so we're all clear here, he started 16th. He was the first car that did not take time, and so Brophy's definitely bringing it. I don't think he's saving much fuel there, Clindy.
The draft does marvelous things. So the competitors in these race cars can adjust the engine map that they're running, and they had the option to change the amount of drag their cars produce prior to the race in the setup department. So whatever Brophy has going on, it's working for him as he marches forward. Hamilton Akabueze in the fiercely forward purple machine is the most advanced driver so far through the field. He had started 21st, and he's up to 7th.
Yeah,
fiercely forward indeed.
Take that back, Clindy. He's up to 5th now. He just went by Mount Hollybaugh and Alexander Miller, so he is coming. Hollybaugh now is going to go to work on Alexander Miller. He's going to try to make it into the 6th spot. Doesn't quite get it done. Sadiq is going to make a move on Andrew Wood as well here.
A little bit of double trouble. Got a couple of drivers making the same move down the front. Hollybaugh gets it done. He's going to fall in right behind Sadiq as Hamilton Akabueze slides around him, pulling the slider through one, move him up to 4th.
Yeah, I'd say Hamilton and Clindy. I'd say Hamilton and Brophy might be the two in the field that have something for the front two. Andrew Wood has been firmly ensconced in that 3rd spot, but now he's got trouble coming in the form of Hamilton Akabueze. And you see there Wood going high through turn number 3 and 4. He followed the leaders up there, and Akabueze is going to get a huge run down the front straightaway.
If you don't love milk and cream rising to the top, I don't know what to tell you. But, America's farmland, you got pastures all over. Turn 3 is literally modeled after Milwaukee. I know they do agribusiness out in Pennsylvania, so enjoy it, folks. You're seeing the absolute best of the iRacing service with the best setups, working their way to the front and all working together. What a sight to see.
It is indeed. You kind of wonder what Hamilton's going to do when he gets there. Is he going to pull up and save? Or is the fiercely forward driver going to try to go to the front here and play the rabbit? There he goes to the bottom. Marco did not cover the bottom off that time. He was going high. Hamilton's going to go by Andrew Wood. You saw it live on board with Hamilton Akabueze. Put him into 3rd. Andrew Wood goes to 4th. And now the battle is going to be on between Akabueze, Marco Brazil, and Jesper Orman.
I don't know if it'll be a battle. I think these three want to find the fastest combination of the two cars to try to break them away from the rest of the competitors. They're all single file and playing nicely behind to hold on to the coattails of the fastest cars right now.
They do. And the other thing I've noticed is we've got really kind of a breakaway. The front 9, if you look there from Jason Brophy on up, they are all more or less together. There is a distance between everybody, between Brophy and Kevin Burrell. And there you see it. You're talking about 0.4 of a second, which is still definitely in the draft. But Kevin's going to have to be careful. If he doesn't keep up with that draft, he's going to lose it.
I think everyone's within striking distance right now, but you'll see the cars that competitors feel are a little slower or not quite up to the challenge of staying in the draft get disposed of quickly. Matty Sinclair is probably the first victim of that, and Logan Edwards is stuck behind him right now. Brophy looking to the bottom, trying to get around Carasella.
Here goes Andrew Wood to the bottom. He's going to dive it in on Marco Brazil. He's not going to quite get there. Hamilton Akabueze is going to have a huge run going down the front here, Clindy.
Nowhere to go with it. Wood took him to the wall, and Brazil and Orman are starting to dance away. Akabueze makes no move on Wood here. They're going to follow into turns 1, which is not turns 1 and 2 like most ovals. I am also a 6-turn truther. I think that Pocono should be 1 and 2 here, 3 and 4 in the Indy complex, and then 5 and 6 in the Milwaukee complex.
See, the truthers can't even agree on how many turns there should be. So how could that be truth, Clindy?
I think that I think Indianapolis has 8 corners, so it's real truth hours. X-Files music can play now.
I tell you what, Andrew Wood didn't care how many corners this joint has. He just drove around Marco Brazil, and then he drove around Jesper Orman, the lead, lap 19.
They're going to be 3 wide coming into 1. Look at them go!
Yeah, you got Marco down on the bottom. That's Jesper Orman in the middle. Andrew Wood at the top. Wood slides it from the top all the way down to the bottom, and he's going to go from third to first in 2 corners, essentially. He made the move in 3 to go to the lead. He led the lap, and now he's back in 3rd, and he's got a rear view mirror full of Hamilton Boise as we work lap 20 of 80, work lap 21 of 80, excuse me. If you like tonight's coverage, please do support us by giving the video a like. And if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. We are up over 800, Clindy. We are less than 200 to go to that magic 1,000. YouTube analytics say that about half the people that that watch these races do not subscribe. Do us a solid, ring the bell. It's free, and that definitely helps us move up in the YouTube algorithm. Gains us more recognition, which means more sponsorships, which means more of this fantastic racing action. We got a car around in the back. Caution is out.
Is it Ohei?
It's David Hinger, and I don't know if Ohei got a piece of that or not. Here's Hinger. He is under Will Stearns. We're gonna get the overlay out of the way there so we can see it. Turn 1. He's rolling around. The caution laps are extremely long here, and so don't feel as though you're going to miss any of the action, friends. He just got down, got loose, and lost it, and that is as close. Ohei's going to get net coated. So
Olivia Hayward got lucky. iRacing said, "You guys are touching, but this time it's okay."
Yeah, she definitely got the better of the netcode situation there. Let's get on board with Ohei and let's show you what this looks like. And you got to remember, this is 1/4 time here, so it is, you don't get this much time to react. But there's Hinger in front. You can see the car starting to get loose. It finally goes. Smoke starts coming off the rears, and just nowhere to go for Ohei. She does make it through, and there's the net code. But as you can see, iRacing forgives the contact, no damage on the number 16 machine. While we are under yellow, Clindy, if the fans don't mind here, I'm going to bring up the graphic settings, because I think I know what's causing.
Are you drawing minimum cars because of the votive derby last night?
I'm not drawing minimum cars, but I think, yep. I'm drawing I was drawing 20. So as pit stops occur here, everybody is on pit lane, and we're going to get ourselves down to the leaders. We'll get to pit exit.
Strategy gets pretty easy from here, Murph. This 20-lap run at the start lets you cleanly divide the remaining 60 into 30 and 30. The question becomes whether you want to pit early or late at the end of this run. Basically, you have two trains of thought. You can pit as soon as your pit window is open, or when your tank is as dry as it can be. If you stay out late, you're in the danger zone, and anyone who pit before you is going to cycle in front when you pit under yellow, because this place is so big, you don't go a lap down when you pit under green.
You know, that's very true. I think the math is even more simple than that. I think it's going to be run it dry, come in, get yourself some gas, get some tires, go back out, run it dry again. I think this sets up just about perfect for two even stops. I don't think pit strategy, one lap or two each way, is really going to make that much of a difference. There was no real cycle through the pits there. Jason Brophy is on the pit lane, or was on the pit lane, for 1:29.5 seconds, and so he has gone back out. But a long stop for Jason Brophy. David Hinger remains on the pit lane. He is 2 laps down, and that was the issue. For Craig Forsyth snickering at me in the chat. I completely uninstalled and reinstalled iRacing last night to move it to a new drive and get some space, and the settings didn't quite all come back. Meanwhile, Hamilton Boise, he just dove back for the pit lane. No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, there's Hamilton. So he's coming into the pit lane one more time. Hamilton, I guess, maybe feels like he wants some more fuel in that number 1 machine.
Not going up on the... Oh, he is going up on the jacks.
He is, and he had just changed tires, so maybe he's coming for an adjustment. We do have other cars that are coming into the pits as well. That's Jason Brennan, Logan Edwards back there, Jason Brophy, Leo Salvador. Those cars all coming in. They're going to top up, and you see Hamilton, and that kind of confirms my suspicion. Look at how slow he's rolling out of here, Clindy. Third gear,
he wants to be able
gear.
to stretch the fuel he's got right now and have more than all of his competitors. The way their gears must be mapped, or the amount of drag they produce on their cars, must make this not a leisurely sprint to the finish, but more of a measured stroll where you have to watch your economy and make sure you don't run out of fuel.
Yeah, and that's going to be the thing. And you see, Hamilton, he's in sixth gear, and he is already down to... Clindy, he's already down to 3,000 RPMs, very lightly rolling this thing under yellow. So, working caution, lap 24 of 80. Do want to thank all of our supporters out there. Huge crowd in the concurrent lobby here, Clindy. We got over 40 people watching the race. Do want to thank each and every one of you. If you haven't already done so, make sure you click like on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel. Would also like to thank Whiplash SimCams for their support of the iRacing IndyCar Open Series. We are getting ready to go back to green here. Barney's got the green flag in the air, Clindy, and away we're about to go, sir.
Green, green, green.
Clean start from Brazil. Fanning out behind, just snaking around to get the draft. That's Ohe making a move on Will Stearns. It's like Logan Edwards is making a move forward as well into turn one.
Yeah, we got him stacked up 3, 4, 5 wide back here. All the way up at the top is Logan Edwards, and he is going around. He's trying to go around Hamilton Akabuezi. Akabuezi, though, is determined to get back to the front here, Clindy.
That is Ohe. Similarly, pink. Akabueze still at the tail of the field.
You're right. I miscalled that. One of the things and I got the camera on Hamilton, but one of the things that's helping Hamilton, almost all of his competitors are going to the top line. Akabueze's got it pinned right down on the bottom in turn 3, and the runs that he gets because of that are incredible.
It's all the clean air. It lets you mash the gas and put on a pass. Hamilton also loves the bottom because it's a shorter distance. Less distance means you have less fuel to burn to go that distance, especially when you get the clean air. You get to go a shorter distance, and you don't have to get back up to speed. If you run in dirty air, you have to lift, and when you lift, you actually have to generate that momentum back by getting into the throttle harder. The smaller your lift with the cleaner the air, the faster you go and the less fuel you use, as he dispatches Ohe and slots in right behind Edwards.
Yeah, he's going to be by Edwards here in pretty short order. That's Hamilton Akabuezi. Just posts the fastest lap of the race. He throws it underneath Logan Edwards. He's going to make the pass. Next up on the hit parade is Will Stearns, and I don't think he's going to be behind Will for very long. He wasn't able to get it done through turn number 1, lost a lot of momentum off the bottom there, but here he comes. He's going to go right back to the bottom through the tunnel turn. Will Stearns is going to put it up high. Hamilton Akabuezi he's not going to be able to clear him there. He should clear him going through 3 here, though.
And he is the show. While the group in front are all fanning out to find clean air in turn 3, they're pretty content to run single file, which is why Hamilton's acting with such haste here. He doesn't want to get left behind out of that lead draft at the front. The faster he can put away these cars that either have to save more fuel because they've got more drag or can't keep up to begin with, makes him desperate for that lead draft.
Yeah, and there he goes. He's gotten by Stearns. Stearns is going to try the crossover and see if he can't get by going down the Long Pond straightaway, but I don't think he's got enough steam to do it. Move Hamilton Akabuezi from the back to 12th. He's looking at Kevin Burrell and Matty Sinclair next, although he's got some work to do to get to them, Clindy.
I think he's well within their draft envelope, so mission accomplished as far as avoiding the crisis of losing the draft, and he's got a couple of friendly competitors right ahead. 2 fiercely forward cars sandwiching Matty Sinclair at the back of this field. We've got some action at the front. Hollabaugh is 3 wide going into 1 as Brazil and Sudik are swapping the lead.
Yeah, there's Matt Hollabaugh. You just talked about him. Marco Brazil, Nick Sudik has gone to lead. Jesper Orman back to 3rd. Andrew Wood to 4th. Moved Miller to 5th. And there's There's Matt Hollyball. And how about Uncle Rob? Rob Anglakis. He's in 7th, and he's got Matt Taylor in close attendance behind him in 8th.
Very Uncle Rob type day. Under the radar, solidly in the top 10, not making any dangerous moves, and putting himself right in the correct spot to stay under the radar.
Craig Forsyth says you got a 3 is the most important corner because you have to maximize the speed down the front straight. And then he says he's not good at it, not good at maximizing turn 3. I beg to differ. I have struggled many a night to pass Craig Forsyth down the front straight. Do not listen to a word that man says. But Craig Forsyth, good to have some of our fellow competitors in the chat tonight. It's good to see Craig too. Always a fun guy to race with. Shinsina in there, money on 3 being the most sensitive turn. Shane Coker asking the questions. Good to see our fellow drivers in here supporting us, Clindy. And a ton of them are watching. 41 concurrent viewers right now. Again, if you haven't done so, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the page. Let's get to 1,000 so we can move up that algorithm and bring you a lot more iRacing IndyCar action. Jesper Orman slides it down to the bottom. He's going to go under Alexander Miller. He's going to get back to 4th. It is now Sudik, Brazil, Wood, and Orman, your top 4. Alexander Miller is 5th. Matt Hollyball is doing what he needs to do, Clindy. He is 6th. And as I look down, Logan Edwards is 14th. So Hollyball staying up front. Edwards is struggling to get there, and that means good things for Hollyball in his pursuit of that Division II title.
He's just got to keep it clean and keep it out of trouble. Being 3 wide is probably the last place he wants to be. If I'm Hollyball, I'm just going to take what I have instead of forcing the issue. A couple of notes on the chat activity. I know Shinsa is actually Jacob Collins, my road racing teammate, and my input on the hardest line to hit is actually turn 1. I feel that turn 1 is so important to get right, especially in an open setup, because you can maximize the top or the bottom with how you set your car up to begin with.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you don't know as we watch this race. We don't know what's on the cars. Now we do know guys' tendencies. So, for example, we know that Marco Brazil traditionally sets his cars up to be pretty light on downforce. We know that Jesper Orman likes a very, very free race car. He likes a lot of rotation. We don't know what the other guys have though, and so it's you can make conjecture just by looking at them. You can tell whether they've got the wickers on, whether they've got the strakes on the diffusers and so forth. You can see that visually, but you don't know what the geometry is, and you don't know what the wing angles really are just by looking at them out on the course, do you, Clindy?
You can't, but what I can tell by looking at them at the course right now is that everyone is saving fuel. They're a good bit faster than the fastest laps marched, and if you look at the pack, they're all right on top of each other. That is a sign of the leader cars not going as fast as they could. They're no longer, they are swapping to share the draft, but they're not doing it for speed. They're doing it for economy now.
Yeah, they're almost a second off the pace. Marco Brazil Andrew Wood that last time through 42.077. His best lap 41.013. He goes to the lead, and this is one of those deals where if you want to be the guy that's in the back and go to the front and burn some gas, you can do it, Clindy, but that's at the expense of maybe not being able to make it.
If you go to the front and volunteer to burn gas for the rest of the field, you will be the field's best friend. Unfortunately, these guys are not the best friends of one another. They're all competing with one another.
That reminds me of an open race I ran here a couple of seasons ago. It was very much like this. It was a fuel save situation. The pack had slowed way down. I did not have a very good setup. I was 12th or 13th or whatever in a 23 or 4 car field. And I said, you know what, boys, let's gamble. And so I turned my fuel up, went to the front, and as I passed him, Jacob Oster, Robert Malechka, key the mic, go Murphy, go, right? They wanted me to go up there and burn the fuel because that meant that they didn't have to. The needed caution did not fly, and I finished last, so I don't think I learned my lesson, but there are consequences.
Have a good time. You make a couple friends. That's what matters.
Hey, I did. I got to lead a bunch of laps on race spot, and that's always a good deal. My friends enjoyed it, but I ran out with 3 to go. So, it's a gamble if you do that, but that option is on the table. And if you are of such a persuasion and you want to gamble, and your car can go reasonably quick, the leaders have checked up. Now's your time.
We may not be in Vegas, but we definitely have some drivers rolling the dice. Will Stearns just made a very aggressive move on Jason Brophy in the tunnel turn, the Indy corner.
Yeah, and there's
And they're
Will.
now working their way through 3.
Well, and Will could be doing, he goes all the way to the top, makes an aggressive move down underneath Sam Carosello as well. And maybe that's the spot Will's in. He's looking at it saying, you know, I'm not going to go to the front under any other circumstance. Why not turn it up and gamble on a caution, Clindy?
I don't even think if Will Stearns is banking on a caution. I think Will just loves to go flat out, man. I don't know if I've ever seen Will save a drop of fuel in my life.
You know, that's also very true. I don't know that Will I don't think I've ever seen him save fuel either. But it could be. I mean, he could know the situation and say, look, I'm going to the front. The heck with it. I'll burn the gas. And if it let the chips fall where they may. He is climbing the leaderboard, though. He is the number 21 car, and we alluded to that in the pre-race that nobody heard. If you're the last car in, you have a huge chance to score some big iRating if you run up front. And Will Stearns looking to take advantage.
Yeah, for reference, Hamilton Akabueze is the 1 car. He has more than double the iRating of Will Stearns. Will's running right behind him and would probably gain something like 40 points just finishing where he is right now.
Yeah, and for reference, Hamilton 67-19, Will 30-43 in the iRating. Will's in the wall.
Will Stearns in the hole.
Hard in the wall.
Jason Brophy got very, very lucky there. If you go watch my P1 guide on Pocono, that exact situation happens in my practice laps. The car in front of me gets tight from the aero wash in turn 3. I was behind and had nowhere to go. Maybe this gives credence to the thought that turn 3 is the hardest to all the viewers out there who sided with Jacob Collins.
And the thing about turn 3 to me, Clindy, is the wall, and you're going to see it. The wall here, we're on board with Jason Brophy looking out his left eyeball toward Will Stearns in front. The turn 3 wall almost wants to jump out and grab you. It's a very abrupt exit to a corner that's really, really wide, and it gets really narrow right there. Stearns jumps up, smacks the wall, and watch this evasive move from Jason Brophy to not make contact. You see him hard on the brakes. You saw the tachometer drop several hundred RPM there. Hard on the brakes, does not make contact, keeps it on going, and that's a move that gives you that's a great example of a ton of experience. But I tell you what, Will Stearns has got trouble brewing behind him. He managed to hold on to that spot. He has lost the draft to Hamilton Akabueze, and he has a hungry crew, Brophy, Carosello, Wallen, all right behind him.
I think the people right behind him are more concerned about saving fuel. They see the leaders in front breaking away, but Brophy now has to burden the challenge of pushing this boulder uphill to both go fast and save fuel. The best way to do so is to be in the draft of that lead pack, and they've lost it. They're more than 1.5 seconds behind.
They are 1.8 seconds as they go down the long pond straightaway. The battle at the front has kind of simmered down as well. Marco Brazil, Alexander Miller seem to be content.
Jim Wallen has now lost both of his wings, and a caution has come out. Who's upside down? That looks like Logan Edwards.
Championship.
You got it, Murph.
Championship implications. Logan Edwards hard into the turn 3 wall is where he comes to rest, and this is all gonna start though with Jim Wallen. So you see him coming down the long pond straightaway. Here's Jim Wallen, and I think I've got a pretty good idea how this starts. It's going to be everybody checking up to save fuel, and Jim Wallen goes down into turn 2. He loses the nose.
I think Will Stearns didn't think he had a car to his outside, actually.
Yeah, Will comes up to clear, not clear. And so there's the one car over the back of another, the checkup, and Logan Edwards goes for a ride. He did not get as high as I got at Indianapolis in the Area 51 race, but you get a really good look at the way the undersides of these Indy cars are shaped. He'll slide along the top of the roll hoop. Eventually the car is going to flip back over, turn back around, and land on all fours. Oddly enough, Clindy, In iRacing with the damage model, if you just get upside down and slide along on your roll hoop for a minute and the car sets back down gently, it's very little damage. Did you know that?
Yes, I do know that. I've had too much experience upside down at your own hands. Thank you, Murph.
Always glad to help. Always glad to help out one of my fellow iRacers with their racing knowledge and experience. Clindy, we've got green flag pit stops coming. There's the leaders: Andrew Wood, Marco Brazil, Alexander Miller, Nick Sudik, and Jesper Orman are all coming down the pit lane. Forsyth says that Brophy is the luckiest man alive. I think he would agree with you only because we have not yet had green flag pit stops in this race, Clindy.
I wish we had. We're still going to get one. I mark my words. This race is going green to the end. We're going to have one splash and go here for the competitors. Some of them are going to choose to take tires. Some of them are going to choose to take gas. We've only got... Actually, no, wait, hold on. 37 to go here is longer than the 2 stints before. So yeah, they're definitely going to have to stop again. No one's going to stretch and save this unless we get an immediate restart caution.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Strategy is still not changed.
Arcbrain checking in. I have a feeling that is Logan Edwards. Sorry about your night, Logan. The state of Texas, I'm sure, is feeling some sort of way right now without its Lone Star driver out on the track.
Very true. Justin Osterman checking in too. Good to see him in the chat. Good friend of the program, good friend of mine. So, Justin, hello, and thank you so much. The P1 broadcasting schedule is up in the chat for everybody to peruse. Of course, later on tonight, we're going to have the ISRA race from Charlotte. Clindy will be in that one. I am taking the night off. One, because Clindy needs a good finish, and he doesn't need me being a weapon at Charlotte. But the other is that my daughter has the flu, and so she's kept us up a couple of nights in a row, all night. And so I will be taking the opportunity to rest. We've got some guys playing the dummy. Marco Brazil fakes going to pit road. Matt Taylor, Matt Hollybaugh, so a pair of Matts, as well as Leo Salvador are all coming down pit lane. They're going to top it up and see if they can't go an extra lap, Clindy.
Yeah, I think that extra lap might matter, especially if you get a couple of yellows, especially like one early and then another later. You won't have to come in and top it off again, and you'll be able to make it. You'll gain track position from anyone who chooses to try to stretch from the first yellow and everyone else who chooses to pit under the second yellow. Once it's assured, you'll make it full push.
There it is, and there's the shot from the rear bumper of the pace car. Matty Wagner, he says hello. But the ISRA race tonight, that's round 12 from Charlotte Speedway. Gary and LGN will have that call. Tomorrow night, the flagship broadcast, Championship Tuesday, Clindy. We're going to go to one of my most favorite tracks in all the sim, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be right here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. Gary Godso on the call. And that's going to be from Old Atlanta at 7:15. So look forward to that. On Wednesday, do we have Horizon on Wednesday, Clindy?
I believe so. I believe we're at Milwaukee.
You are 100% right. So 8 o'clock, it'll be Ryan Eric King and I, live from the Milwaukee Mile. We're going to do that at 8 Eastern. Concurrent with that, dueling streams, because the Formula Indy Series, they're going to be at the Saxon Ring. And so if you want to see something really cool, Indy cars run to Formula One rules. That's a ton of fun. And then Thursday night, we'll have the Black Magic Grand National Series at 8:20. We're going back to green. Sunday, we'll have the Votive Indy Series, 7:50 from Iowa Speedway. And then, Clindy, you and I are going to get a week off.
A whole week? Week 13. The best week of the year.
Only if you like crashes, Clindy. Only if you like crashes. I'm actually interested for week 13 in terms of what it's going to bring with some of the updates. We're going to see iRacing finally implement a anti-lagging model, so that'll need to have the kinks worked out. And week 13 is generally pretty wild anyway. If anybody remembers, at one point there was a week 13 fun package that had IndyCars, stock cars, and prototypes all run Talladega together. That was something.
I love crazy multi-class races like that. I think iRacing would do well to create unranked races that run, maybe once or twice a day that would get big participation, doing something crazy like that instead of just holding those till week 13.
That's a great idea. One of the things that I'd love to see, and this would be my dream, Clindy, and you're gonna, you've been talking about doing a big race. We've got the P1 600 coming up June the 7th. You've been talking about doing something wild and crazy. I'd love to see an endurance race on an oval with prototypes. I think that'd be hilarious.
My idea is that idea exactly, except for with the IndyCar. Prototypes also would be a fun time, and you could have both the LMP2s and the GTPs, along with any of the legacy Grand Touring cars that are like prototypes and everything but name. So that could be an option.
I'd like to see the prototypes. The prototypes, the GTPs. Oh, we got trouble in the back. Is that Burrell or is it Carosella?
Yeah, it was Burrell with Stearns again in turn 2. I think Burrell is no worse for wear.
Yeah, let's see what's happened here. That was pretty hairy times. If I can get the replay queued up, it doesn't seem to want to work. So my apologies to all the fans out there. But there was definitely contact, Will Stearns with Kevin Burrell. It appears as though Carosella remains ahead. Will Stearns doesn't seem to be any worse for the wear either. He's going to drop to the inside of Carosella and make the move going into the tunnel, Clindy.
The NASCAR track, Murph. Rubbin's Racing.
If you say so, Clindy. If you say so.
Uncle Rob and Jesper side by side going into one, and I think Jason Brophy's about to be there to say hello. I'm in the party now.
Yeah, you see him in the back. You see him there. He's moving the inside of Matty Sinclair, and he's got Hamilton Akabuezi right behind him. Those guys did not take the extra fuel. The two that did, Matt Taylor and Matt Hollybaugh, along with Leo Salvador. Salvador has not made any progress toward the front, but Hollybaugh and Matt Taylor, they're slowly working their way forward. They are 15th and 16th, but those two really starting to kind of get forward here. And remember, they've got that extra lap of gas that could play huge. Watching Jason Brophy work over Matty Sinclair here, and don't sleep on Sinclair. That's a pretty fast rocket ship he's got.
Yeah, he's recently got his first podium in the Velocity Online Racing Series just a few weeks ago. And he's definitely a bright up-and-coming star in the iRacing scene.
For certain, sure. Go back and look at Uncle Rob, Jesper Orman, Nick Sudik. The front three of Wood, Brazil, and Miller have kind of separated themselves a little bit from Sudik, Orman, and Anglakis. And then there's a little bit of a gap, and by little bit I mean 7 or 8 car lengths between Rob Anglakis and Matty Sinclair, and then another couple back to Brophy and Hamilton. Will Stearns has snatched the draft off of Hamilton Akabuezi, though. He runs 10th. Kevin Burrell 11th. Jim Wallen, and let's put Jim Wallen up on the screen here. He's hanging tough in 12th. That's always a guy that you love to see out enjoying a race. There is not a finer gentleman to race with in the service than Jim Wallen. He's running along. He started 19th. He's running along in 12th. It's a good showing for Jim Wallen. Gary Godso coined him the community's version of Dick Simon. Always well put together and well presented, and comports himself as a gentleman.
Oh, huge trouble off of turn 3, Uncle Rob.
There it is, Uncle Rob Anglakis. He is sideways in the middle of the front stretch. Caution is out. Just as I was paying compliments to Jim Wallen, Rob Anglakis goes for a ride, and let's see what's happened here.
He ran over Jesper.
Okay, so here they are. They're coming off a 3. Anglakis high, Orman and Sudik low, Sinclair low behind him. Here's Uncle Rob, and he and Jesper are going to meet right at the exit. Big contact. Orman has a lurid slide, but Jesper saves it. Rob Anglakis hard into the fence. Caution is on the speedway. Don't believe anybody else behind him got in the wall trying to avoid it, but that is hard contact and going to be night done for Robin Gleikus.
We have a development. Andrew Wood hit pit road as Uncle Rob was crashing. If he got to pit road while it was open, he will inherit the lead here.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go on board with Andrew Wood, and we're going to be able to tell whether he did or not, because the crash is happening behind all this, or the crash is happening behind him. We want to see Andrew Wood across the cone before the yellow lights light up on the dash. There they are. He did not make it.
I do not see him under penalty, however.
Well, if you don't stop in your box, you don't.
He did stop.
Okay, he did stop. So he may have to serve an end the longest line, maybe. Sometimes that does not show up.
Actually, Murph, I think he made it.
They're going to call it interesting because the yellow lights were definitely on the dash before he hit pit road. So before he got to the cone, and that's usually the standard. Meanwhile, we've got action on pit lane. Everybody else has decided to hit pit road, and we're going to watch Jesper Orman because that car did have contact, and you can see the scuff there on the left front wing, or on the right front wing, excuse me. So Jesper may be affecting some repair, or maybe not. There he comes off the pit road. So if he did have damage, Clindy, he didn't fix any of it.
No, not at all. It would have taken much longer than that to get anything fixed. He may have irreparable wheel damage on the right rear. And knowing how well his car turns, that may be very problematic.
Well, and sometimes wheel damage can be cured simply by, I don't know, changing the affected wheel. We've had that. So that is possible. Do want to thank everybody who is out there in the chat, everybody who's in the chat active. Matty Wagner, Craig Forsyth, the aforementioned Jacob Collins, who I called a race with him. That was a ton of fun, Clindy. We got to do that some more. Justin Osterman in here. Whole bunch of really good guys and gals watching this thing. Would like to thank Whiplash Simcams and remind everybody, if you haven't already done it, make sure you smash like on the video and ring the bell to subscribe to the channel. Both of those things are absolutely free, and they both do us a solid in helping us move up the YouTube algorithm in our drive for 1,000. Craig Forsyth says he's scribbling notes for himself. Matty Wagner wants to know if that's a sticky note on the dash. Those two good friends being funny. And we will let them be. The lights are still on the pace car. I believe we're going to get one more lap here, and then we're going to go back to green. Andrew Wood has got the EOL, by the way. That's the car at the very top of your screen. So, Clindy, iRacing did not call it good. There's Wood all the way at the back.
Yeah, but my entries form isn't showing him with a black flag, so it just is really difficult as a broadcaster to know when there actually is a penalty or not, because sometimes it shows you the black flag and other times it doesn't. I think it determines whether or not it's being served under yellow or under green. If it's a stop and hold or a drive-through, I think it will show the black flag, whereas if it's an EOL, I get no sort of visual representation. So I'm going to go post on the forums after this and ask very nicely for that to be implemented in the future.
You know, that's very true. It doesn't show as a black flag. Sometimes it doesn't show as a black flag because technically you're not getting black flag. Now I'll tell you what it does show though. We're going to see exactly how fast the 14 of Andrew Wood is. He's been up front all day. We've got a couple of guys at the front, Matt Taylor, Kevin Burrell. Those gentlemen, they stopped last 10 or 11 laps ago, and so they still would theoretically need another yellow, or they would theoretically need a ton of yellow, or they're going to need one more stop. And in another development, Matty Sinclair, 4.2 seconds in the box, Clindy. I'd bet you a shiny new dime that he got gas only in the number 11 machine.
He's just feeling a little thirsty. He wasn't hungry. I don't need new shoes. I just need a little bit of drink.
You know, and that's the gamble. That's the thing. You know, you get out there. You say, look, I'm going to put myself up with the fast guys, maybe get a little bit of clean air on this thing. That can do wonders for any handling issue you might have. Meanwhile, we're going to get ready to go back to get back going to green flag action. You can tell I'm tired, Clindy. I can barely talk.
hope Murph's still with us. If not, we've got the green here with just 25 laps to go at Pocono.
They didn't fan out and do the snake that time. You've got Brophy, looked like he clipped the wall a little bit. He is trapped behind the two wounded cars of Orman and Stearns. He finally gets to the bottom of Stearns. He's going to bring Hamilton Akabuezi with him. Marco Brazil, meanwhile, he's going to drop down inside of Matt Taylor. Matty Sinclair, he's going to go for the lead.
Here's Matty.
So put Matty Sinclair to the lead. Taylor is going to be third. He held off the charge from Marco Brazil. Remember, Matt Taylor and Kevin Burrell are on older tires here. Matt Taylor going to fade Marco Brazil up to the fence. He's going to keep Marco behind him at least for one more straightaway. Marco going to pull it to the inside. Burrell going to go to the inside of Matty Sinclair. Taylor right up on the rear wing of Sinclair. They've got Brazil trapped down low. They're going to drive right by, and here comes Alexander Miller. He wants a piece of that action. Marco Brazil is going to go from a challenge to third to fifth.
It's going to be all pedal to the metal from here. No fuel saving required for majority of the field. So you're going to see drivers be more aggressive, play more games aero blocking. Matty Sinclair made an aggressive move there.
Yes, he is. Will Stearns is up in the fence again in the background. Caution!
Oh, huge trouble. Nick Sudik is in the pit lane. He cleared the attenuator and is doing barrel rolls through the pit boxes.
They're still crashing back there. Nick Sudik left the ballpark. And so
that all started with Matty Sinclair's block.
Well, I don't want to say it's a block per se.
I do.
Well, I'll tell you what it started with. Marco Brazil got up in the fence at the exit of 3.
No, this all cascaded on the entry. Matty Sinclair blocked Alex Miller on entry, and that caused Miller to wash up, and then Brazil had to react, and he got put in the wash, which put him in the wall. So it may not look like it was directly caused by that, but it was a confluence of events. One thing led to the other.
We're going to ride on board Nick Sudik, and you can kind of see what Clindy's talking about. Watch the white car at the very front, the second car in line. He's going to swing it to the top side. That's going to feed the dirty air to Alex Miller. Marco Brazil does go a little bit wide, though, because he's getting the dirty air from Matt Taylor. He's going to bounce off the fence and right down in to Miller, who presents himself to Nick Sudik. Sudik gets launched as the ramp. Jason Brophy also involved. We're going to just watch Sudik here upside down through the pit boxes. And as my good friend Ryan Schold once did here, he gets to take the trip to victory lane, but it's not the trip he wanted. Meanwhile, they're still crashing behind them. There's Alex Miller. You see the car of Marco Brazil. Matt Hollybaugh gets through. Jim Wallen got through. Will Stearns did not get through. So let's go back and see what happened to Will. He took a ride over the top of Marco Brazil. You know what I think we should do? Let's go back and watch this full scoot from the cockpit of Will Stearns. Well, it's not going to let me do that, but he gets in the wall the same as Brazil did, trying to carry too much speed. So Stearns is already hurt. Now watch the track. It's completely closed. All you see is smoke. There goes Nick Sudik toward Jupiter, and Marco Brazil comes down the track, and there goes Will Stearns. He gets up in the air, but he does land broken right front on the car for Stearns. There you see it detach. And so caution back on the speedway. I don't see anybody else get collected in this thing. I think Andrew Wood made it through as well.
I believe it was Wood. A 4-car accident. So Stearns, Brazil, Sudik,
Miller.
And Miller.
Yeah. There you go. Will Stearns is under tow. We're going to go back to the front. And you know who this benefits there, Clindy? It benefits Kevin Burrell. He managed to maintain his position.
I don't think Burrell can make it to the end on fuel. I'm surprised he hasn't stopped yet.
Yeah, especially with the yellow that's going to clean the field up. We've only got 14 cars out on the track, and so if ever there was a time to stop, grab some fuel, put a new pair of shoes on that puppy, get some light fuel, and go fast. Now's the time. But the General Kevin Burrell electing to stay out. He has already burned through more than half of his tank. He's been out there for 16 laps. Matt Taylor is in the same boat. He's been out for 15. Everybody else last stopped either 6 or 7 laps ago. 7 laps ago would have been Andrew Wood, but Wood has made it back to 9th.
Yeah, and each lap here is 2.5 miles. It's not Iowa, where it's just under a mile. You're going a very far distance. You're lucky for a gallon to last you more than a lap here.
You know, you're more than right, Clindy. We kind of talked about it. In the part of the broadcast that nobody heard. The window here is 28 to 32 laps. If you are Scott Dixon-esque, you may be able to get 33 or 34. If you really want to turn it up, go full throttle and never lift, 27. And that is also largely dependent on how much drag you have on the automobile. I know I like a little bit more downforce here, and so my car is going to be draggier and less efficient than some of my peers, but it's going to handle better in traffic. And so, it just kind of depends on what your setup priorities are too, Clindy.
Yeah, that's the give and take, and the hours that these drivers spend testing and tuning on these machines prior to the event tonight. There's countless hours, countless laps run for all of these drivers and teams just to get these cars dialed in. 100% there, Clindy. Not only that, but it's worth mentioning that this lines up very well for a series that a lot of these drivers compete in. That's the Indy Elite Series on Sunday nights. That series also at Pocono, and so this is serving as a test bed for guys like Jesper Orman, Jason Brophy, Hamilton Akabuezi, and others who run that series also. Back to green flag action. At the front, it's going to be the General Kevin Burrell. He leads Matty Sinclair and Matt Taylor. Jason Brophy has made his way to 4th. Jesper Orman holds 5th. Hamilton Akabuezi goes to the underside of Orman, though. As they head through turn number 1, he makes the pass. Jesper is going to come right back on the inside through the tunnel. Possible that rogue racing machine is not any worse for wear after the couple of scuffles it's been through, as Matty Sinclair powers to the lead around Burrell on the bottom.
Yeah, it is possible. Sometimes these cars can be extremely resilient, as we watch Jesper motor along in 6th place. Sometimes these cars can be extremely resilient. Big move from Matt Hollybaugh in the background to the top side of Jim Wallen. And Wallen's about to fall victim to Andrew Wood here as they come down the front straightaway toward turn 1.
Matt Taylor now making a big move to the bottom. Move him up to 2nd.
Yep, Matt Taylor. And Taylor needs to get to the front. He needs to stay up there for this strategy to work. We'll show the MadWorks machine of Matt Taylor. He goes to the bottom. He gets around Kevin Burrell, but Matty Sinclair and Jason Brophy are there. Now remember, Sinclair does have the fuel. He does not have fresh tires. Brophy, Akabuezi, Orman, Hollybaugh, all of those cars do have fresh tires. As we come back, we're going to get 19 laps to go here at Pocono in the Pocono 200 to decide the Indy Open Series. It is Championship Monday, and there's a guy back there that's fighting for a title. That's Matt Hollybaugh. It's not the overall. It is the Division 1 crown, but Hollybaugh is 7th. His chief competitor, Logan Edwards, well, Logan sits on pit lane 21 laps in arrears in 20th. And so he will not improve, but Matt Hollybaugh still can. It can be a big day in the points for the tall one there, Clindy.
Not only that, Kevin Burrell, our presumptive Division 1 and overall champion, can cap his championship season off with a win here. He's well in the fight here as Matty Sinclair makes a bold move to the inside. I thought he was maybe coming to pit road.
I thought maybe he just got loose coming off the corner, but that was deliberate. He's trying to get to the bottom of Jesper Orman. He's going to make that stick. Meanwhile, Andrew Wood has come back up through there. Sinclair is going to wash wide on those old tires. He's forced to fall in behind Orman. Wood's going to get to the inside of Hollybaugh. Here comes the power slide entry of Andrew Wood. He's trying to get up there with teammate Jason Brophy, who simultaneously goes for the lead.
Yeah, I got a bunch of bright cars at the front between Brophy, Akabuezi, and Taylor. Some of the best on the planet. And you got Wood back there with the wood grain scheme. Just kind of blended in.
You almost need sunglasses to look at that top three. Bright lime green and black for the familiar lime green and black for Jason Brophy. The multicolored MadWorks car of Matt Taylor. The pink and black traditional for Hamilton Akabuezi. And then the yellow and black, the Bumblebee for the General Kevin Burrell. They're all right together. Jesper Orman's got the chrome gold and blue going on. The very familiar colors for him. And then behind that, well, that appears to be the red 5 scheme for Matty Sinclair. So we've got it 3 wide though going into the tunnel.
Yeah, Jesper took the bottom line into turn 2, and Akabuezi fed him some dirty air. He had no momentum off the corner, which stacked them up into 3.
But then he made a bold move going back to the middle in 3. He captured some of that momentum back and didn't really lose but the one spot to Kevin Burrell. His problem is he's got a rear view mirror full of Andrew Wood. And that all kind of started when those guys tried to go 3 wide through the tunnel. I thought Jesper might have just decided discretion was the better part of valor and backed out of that. Meanwhile, Wood's going to go to the top side at the exit of the tunnel. He's going to pull alongside of Orman. He's going to get that done, and Wood's going to go to the outside, ride the high line, see if he can't get around Kevin Burrell.
2 for the price of 1. That is textbook. That's how you do it at Pocono. I tried to pull that same move on Adriano Pinheiro on the last lap at Pocono in the INDYCAR Series earlier this year. Go watch that replay on P1, boys and girls.
How did that end for you, Clindy?
I finished 3rd.
Indeed, and so there is risk and there is reward there. Andrew Wood takes all the risk and gets all the reward. Meanwhile, the story for me is Matty Sinclair has stayed up there, has stayed even with these guys. Kevin Burrell has fallen back a little bit on the older tires. You got to remember, though, Sinclair not changing tires. He's also on old tires with heavy fuel. And so that's even more miraculous to me that he's able to stay up there in this fight.
With 3 of the fastest cars on the planet, Matty Sinclair has done a marvelous job with the hand he's dealt himself.
Yeah, I mean, you won't find 3 finer drivers than Matt Taylor, Jason Brophy, and Hamilton Akabuezi. You won't find 3 more finer than Wood, Burrell, or Orman. They're all right there together. He's mixing it up with them, and he's doing it with what has to be a fairly ill-handling machine at this point. He's got, by my count, 28 laps just on that set of tires, at least.
Well, if you frequent the community Discord as much as I do, which very few people do, Rob Malechka III, the undisputed king of IndyCars on oval, said that the tire wear here isn't bad, it's just the heat. Maybe with the back-to-back yellows, Matty took that comment to heart and figured, hey, why not roll the dice and keep these old shoes on?
Cool them off, yeah.
They're broken in, after all.
Yeah, cool them off a little bit. Get the grip back. Jesper Orman makes the dive to the bottom of Matty Sinclair. Meanwhile, Brophy and Akabuezi, they're going to fan out. They're going to go 3 wide. Taylor's going to back out of it. Hamilton's got the inside. He's going to go to the lead. Brophy second. Wood's going to be 3rd now. He's got the bottom charge on Taylor, and you would think, and Hamilton feeds Taylor all of the air. Taylor very loose at the top of the track. He saves the car, but he's going to lose multiple spots. Orman's going to come through. At least Jesper's going to come through, or try to.
I think Jesper is suffering from straight line speed. I know that car would be faster in a straight line without whatever damages.
Whoa, Brophy hard in the wall. Everybody misses Jason Brophy.
No yellow either.
We'll see if he grabs the Alt F4 or if he's gonna stop it on the track. Jason Brophy hard into the wall, and there it is. He will do the sporting thing. Jason Brophy tows it, gets out of the way. No yellow. We'll come to no yellow, so we will continue to be green. Hard impact.
Huge net code caused that between him and Wood. Wood was doing the worst to first challenge from his black flag, pitting under that previous yellow as the pits had closed, and unfortunately he came to net code blows with his compatriot Jason Brophy.
Yeah, we're going to try to get a view of it here. Jason Brophy, there he is. He's going through turn number 1, and they're not really even close, Clindy.
No, you could almost fit a whole car between them.
Yeah, that's just bad luck for Jason Brophy. A really tough break and a really hard hit for one of the best in the business. That's a Pro Series qualifier, Jason Brophy. Tough end to his night at Pocono. We've got 10 laps to go. The battle at the front, though, it's going to rage between that man, Andrew Wood, the leader, Hamilton Akabuezi, and Matty Sinclair has firmly ensconced himself in the lead. Now, I would like to point out Matt Taylor is fourth. He has been out for 27 laps. And so Taylor has been out for 27 laps on this tank of fuel. Now, he hasn't been under green, but for about 20 of those. But he's going to need to hit pit road within, I would think, the next 5 or 6. He's going to need a yellow to stay to make it here, I think.
Or he installed the Smoky Unique fuel tank.
He's got he borrowed the fuel tank from Smokey Chevelle. Is that the thought here?
Yeah, the 7/8 size car, but the 8/7 sized fuel tank.
The line about that car was NASCAR inspected it. They said, Smokey, you've got 12 rules violations. You've got to fix them before we'll let you out on the track. Smokey jumped in the car and said, make that 13, and drove off with the gas tank sitting on pit road at Daytona.
Yeah, I heard that he wrapped the fuel line around the chassis with a copper tubing, and then another time deflated a basketball inside of the fuel tank to hide the extra displacement.
You know, he would do all sorts of crazy stuff. There was a rule in the rule book that the fuel line could only be so long, okay, whatever it was, but it didn't specify the gauge of the line, and so NASCAR figured everybody
real wide.
Yeah, everybody, they figured everybody would use the 1/8 of an inch tube that fuel line usually is. Smoky Unique showed up with a 2.5 inch wide fuel line. Well, it only held an extra 3 gallons, but they didn't say how long it had to be or how wide the line could be. And he took advantage. Meanwhile, Jesper Orman having all sorts of trouble. He went to the bottom there. He got passed by Taylor, got passed by Hollybaugh. He got passed by Burrell. Jesper is going to fall into the clutches of Ohe. Ohe with a great showing. She's going to move around Orman. And you're right, that Rogue machine is clearly ailing as Andrew Wood gets it loose, slips the tires. He saves the automobile. Andrew Wood.
That was too much weight, Jacker. Hit a little bump. Got a little sideways.
Yeah, well, let's come back. We've got caution on the racetrack with 7 laps to go. We're going to see what happened to Wood.
Matty Sinclair did a whale of a job missing that.
Yeah, so there's Andrew Wood, and that car just pops loose with him. Heck of a save from the power slide veteran. He does save the automobile. I don't see where that would have caused a caution, though. Stearns is still on pit road. Oh, the action was further behind that caused the caution. So concurrent with this, we've got Jason Brennan battling with Jim Wallen. They're arguing essentially over 11th and 12th, and they just get together hard in the wall going into turn 1. The general
completely unrelated.
Yeah, completely unrelated. Sam Carosella going to slide by on the bottom.
Well, this is music to Matt Taylor's ears. He now probably doesn't need to stop for fuel.
No, he doesn't. Jason Brennan is going to drive the 6-wheeled or the 3-wheeled machine back to pit lane, but that's going to be night done for him. Jim Wallen has towed it, and we're going to see what happens with Matt Taylor here. He has been out 31 laps. Kevin Burrell, the general, has been out there 32. Those guys needed a yellow in the absolute worst way. We're going to be under caution. We're going to get the restart with, 3 to go, Clindy?
Don't ask my math on that. We're currently working lap 75, which means we complete this lap and 5 more. I believe they'll get 2 to go at the line, which means, 3 to go, maybe? I don't know. But I just know that another yellow will end the race. So if these leaders get bargy or decide to send one another before we get to the white flag lap, the race will be over. So if anyone wanted to have nefarious thoughts about how to win this race, shipping the dude in front of you might just be the ticket right now.
It could be. We're also going to see some guys hit pit road. And if you're at the back of this thing, why the heck not? There's only 11 cars still out there. So we're going to see Leo Salvador and James Allen hit the pit road. They had nothing to lose. They are 10th and 11th, and they're the last 2 cars on the lead lap. So why not come get you a new pair of boots, Clindy? See if you can't make up some ground here. You know that Burrell is ailing on fuel. You know that Andrew Wood's right rear has to be hotter than has to be hotter than Mercury at its closest approach to the sun. And you also got to know that Matty Sinclair shouldn't have a whole lot of handling left in his machine either.
He doesn't have that far to go. I think Matty Sinclair's got the gumption to make up for what he might lack in traction.
It's very true. And the same really goes for Matt Taylor. He's been out there for quite a period of time on his tires as well. So, give Taylor his due. He stayed up there where Burrell fell back. Matty Taylor has stayed up at the front on that light fuel load, and you got to wonder just how much petrol is left in the tank. He's been out there 32 laps, Clindy.
I would guess that he's probably at like 2 gallons right now, and he's hoping that we get another yellow immediately after we go green. That's going to be my thought.
Well, if he's at 2 gallons right now, it's going to be awfully close. You burn about 0.65 to 0.7, anywhere from 0.6 to 0.7, depending on where you're in the draft and where you set the fuel mixture. And so, if he's got 2 gallons, he's right on the border. If we're going to get the green with 3 to go, which it appears pace car is passing underneath Barney. We'll see if the lights go off or not. There it is, Clindy. The lights are off, so we're going to get the green with 3 to go. If he's got 2 gallons right now, he's sweating having 2 gallons. You'd really like to have 2.5 or so. Right about now would be ideal, and that's part of it. Who's measured the fuel right? I don't hear anybody burning it. I don't hear
a symphony of RPM. No one's really burning any extra fuel, so I'd assume everyone's at least a little close.
Yeah, I would think so. Or they want the extra fuel for the weight for handling reasons. Press the back end down, get that diffuser closer to the ground, and get that rear wing out of the air. That could be part of it too. We'll reset the field for you. Hamilton Akabuezi leads it. Matt Taylor second. Matty Sinclair is third. Taylor is running it long on fuel. Sinclair running it long on tires. Matt Hollybaugh in that battle for the Division II title. He is fourth, and what a fill-up that would be if we could get him in here on a podium. Matt Hollybaugh, one of the characters of the IndyCar community. Kevin Burrell is fifth. He is going to be your overall champion, I believe. Is that correct, Clindy?
Yes, he will be.
All right, so the general Kevin Burrell has won the overall championship, or clinched it. Andrew Wood in the Woody, the power slide entry is sixth. He's been up front all day, but he had a too much weight jacker moment earlier and fell back to sixth. Oh, hey, Olivia Hayward is seventh. Great run for her. Jesper Orman in the rogue entry. He had some contact earlier. We think he might be short of some straight line speed, and I'm kind of surprised he didn't come in to the attention of the crew and get that fixed. He'll be eighth. Sam Carousel in ninth, and James Allen is 10th.
I would assume it's unfixable. Let's tune in here for the last restart of Season 1 of 2024. Akabuezi will take us to green.
Here comes Hamilton. Something we haven't seen on the last couple of restarts, Clindy. We haven't seen the snake. Hamilton drops down a lane, but we haven't seen that really hyper-aggressive all the way down. Sometimes you'll see guys snake down all the way to the wall.
I think it's because a lot of this race has been a fuel save. There's no point in swerving the extra distance if it's going to burn more gas.
Nick Sudik says he has returned from the infield care center with a clean bill of health. Nick, good to see you in the chat. That was a wild ride, and yes, we are ready for the crazy. Matt Taylor pulls it to the outside of Hamilton Akabuezi. Matty Sinclair is right there. Hollybaugh is right there. Here we go. They're going to fan out nearly 4 wide. That slams back to single file, and now the snake will begin, Clindy.
Here comes Taylor to the outside. 2 to go to finish this season. 3 Matts teaming up on the Hamilton. Let's see who gets to the finish line first.
It is Hamilton versus an army of Matts, and Andrew Wood has moved into 5th. He's gotten around Kevin Burrell, who's also been passed by Olivia Hayward. Matt Taylor trying to find any way past Hamilton, and he has a horde of Hamilton has a horde of Matts in hot pursuit, and here comes Andrew Wood. He's going to pull it to the outside, and is in the picture as well.
Bunch of dirty air on the competitors trying to catch the leader. Here they come to the white flag. Matt Taylor to the outside. Hollabaw's going to have a run. He's going to bring it 3 wide as they barrel off into turn 1.
Andrew Wood made contact with Matty Sinclair. He was forgiven. Meanwhile, Matt Taylor to the outside of Akabuezi. You've got Hollyball to the outside of Taylor. Wood is now 4th. They're going to go 3 wide toward the tunnel. Clindy, make that 2 wide.
Here comes Wood. Wood had a huge run. Taylor gets the inside of Akabuezi. Wood now moves up to 2nd uncontested. Matty Sinclair almost loses it on the exit of 2.
Here comes Andrew Wood. He's going to have 1 crack at it going through turn number 3. Hollyball to the inside of Wood. Wood goes high to low. Can he make the run coming off of turn number 4? No. Andrew Wood is going to come in 2nd. Hamilton Akabuezi wins it. Matt Hollyball, how about that, is going to finish 3rd. Matt Taylor 4th, and Olivia Hayward will come home 5th. What a wild, wild end to a really amazing race, Clindy.
We had action for all 3 laps non-stop. What a treat to end this open season, and what a treat to share it with you in the booth, Murph. Thank you so much for having me. It has been a ride.
It has been a ride, and the winner of the final ride, Hamilton Akabuezi, he takes the number 1 machine to victory lane. Andrew Wood is going to come home 2nd. Matt Hollyball will be the bottom step of the podium, and I bet we're going to have a very happy Matt Hollyball when he gets to the booth. Matt Taylor is going to come home 4th. Olivia Hayward brings it home 5th. Nice top 5 for Olivia. Matty Sinclair is 6th. The General Kevin Burrell, he will win the championship and finish 7th. Jess Borman 8th. Sam Carousel in 9th. And James Allen will round out your top 10. In 11th, Leo Salvador. Jason Brennan was your final finisher. Brennan 5 laps down. Jim Wallen out of the race. He had a great run going, and that's a shame. Jim, always wonderful to see him, and we hope to see him back for more in the next season. Jason Brophy is 14th. Will Stearns, he'll bring home 15th. Marco Brazil, Nick Sudik, Alexander Miller, Robin Glakis, and Logan Edwards going to round out your top 20. In 21st, shotgun on the field with that early crash, David Hinger is going to bring it home 21st and last, 59 laps in arrears. And Clindy, whew.
Yeah, I need to catch my breath after that last lap, Murph. Tell you what. Holy smokes.
The
results page tells the story. Some of our more experienced drivers had a lot of trouble today, both with netcode and with just issues with traffic. But Andrew Wood persevered it all. I think he had 1 more lap, he would have been able to go back to front just in that last stint.
Oh, for certain, sure. For certain, sure. We're going to get, see if we can't get some of our competitors up here.
We've got Hollyball in the booth waiting for us. Whenever you've got replays queued up and you're ready for him, let me know.
Tell you what, go ahead and bring Matt Hollyball in here. I bet he's going to be a happy dude.
Here he is.
Matt, you've got Mark and Clindy in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy, sir?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I was muted. Sorry. Hi, I got you guys.
Yeah, so that's a $10 fine for not being ready to talk. You can pay that to Gary. But what a heck of a run you had. You started 8th. You made it to the bottom step of the podium. I think you held every position in the top 10 or every position on the track at one point. What did you see there at the end? You were leading a trio of Matts trying to dispose of Hamilton, and none of you could quite get there. What was the plan? And kind of walk me through those wild final 5 miles.
Honestly, my car was best on the top, which is kind of weird to say about Pocono, but I digress. And I was hoping, just hoping that like me not having to lift up there would be the best thing for my chance at a good result tonight. And I feel like it did all right. Hamilton's Hamilton. Like, he's one of the most talented drivers I've ever raced against, and it would take a lot to beat someone like him. So I'm pretty happy with that. Honestly, the thing I'm most happy about is, again, leading that gaggle of mats. I was joking about that in the race, like, hey, we got 3 mats, 3, 4, 5. Let's right before that last restart, we were joking with Hamilton because you know how earlier he passed through the pits to do the whole last to first thing he does. He's just showing off at that stage. Yeah, I was joking with him. Hey, you want to pull through there one more time to just give us a mat 1, 2, 3? He, of course, didn't oblige that time. But yeah, there's a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, it certainly looked like it. Clindy, what say you for Mr. Hollybaugh this evening?
Just congratulations on your Division II championship. Coming home third today, you definitely earned it. Can you tell the viewers at home what it's like to fight for 12 weeks and come out on top? How's that feel?
So I'm not a first-time division champion. I ended up doing it Division 6 of my rookie Indy Open season. So like I've had it before, but that's Division 6. This is Division 2. It's just I'm just honored to be able to race with the talents that we got here. Like I don't think I'm ever going to be able to touch someone like Blocker or Birrell or like the Malechka for Division 1. So to get Division 2, like I'm still pretty damn happy about that, and I'm gonna sleep well tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Pocono can be a pretty interesting experience. So definitely want to thank you for showing up. Definitely want to thank you for coming in the booth. Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors, all yours, my man.
Yeah, I just want to say hi to Mike Hurley, who was in my Discord in my ear the entire time. Yeah, he was just, it's just good to have someone just to hang out with and chat with. I want to shout out Nick Sudik, who unfortunately he had a bit of an incident to take him out of this one. He's had horrible luck this not season, but like I'm sure the good results are going to come eventually. Like he's got too much speed and too much talent for that to keep happening, and bad luck happens. He'll work through it. I want to shout out my brother Cooper, who hopefully is watching this stream from home. Love you, bro. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, and Open Medicine Foundation, and just Doug South, if you're out there. Love you, man. Hope you're doing well.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much, Matt. Congratulations on a fine season.
And, P1 Docs, they supplied me with setups this entire season and got me a Division 2 championship.
Gotcha.
A little bit of a free plug for one of the setup shops out there. I know that you used that in Kansas to great effect. But again, congratulations, Matt. And we'll see you on the track in the future. Keep going fast and having fun.
Thanks for having me in the booth. See you guys later.
Hey, great job, man.
Thank you.
That is Matt Hollybaugh, the tall one. He brings home the All-American iRacers machine third tonight. We're going to jump back to the guy that finished seventh. And the reason that we're going to do that is that I want to give a crack at the booth to the General Kevin Burrell. Kevin, you got Mark and Clindy up in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, congratulations are in order, my friends. Make sure that you aim the champagne just right so you hose Hamilton down. Just don't let him drink any.
Yeah. Hey, he was flying today. I mean, I can confidently say that. I am suffering a major skill issue at Pocono because he was flying and I was almost flying into the catch fence. So, yeah, I mean, I'm obviously pretty happy with the season win. It's, well, for now, tentative, we'll say anyway.
Yeah, as we say, you're in the barn. I've had that feeling myself, and you never really know, right? It's you kind of think, okay, you kind of think, okay, this is going to be probably the only 4,000 SOF of the week, but you never know what some guys can put together on Thursday or Friday to try to make a run. You feeling pretty confident though, going into the clubhouse here?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like a 51 point gap or something. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't expect to do much today. I wasn't sure if Blocker would be running, and guess he's busy. So that is that, I guess, for now anyway. So we'll see.
There you go. We'll see indeed. Clindy, what have you got for the champion? Make sure you don't take any of his bubbly though.
Oh, absolutely not. I wouldn't dream of it. I have a question about the race, and then I'll ask you about the season overall. The race, you were the only driver on the same fuel strategy or close to the same fuel strategy as Matt Taylor, having pit about lap 43 or 44. We were speculating that you guys were awfully close on fuel. Did that last caution put you guys over the edge, or were you good before that?
Apparently I was good before it, although I think, with the way everyone was pushing hard at the end. It might have been hard to do anything but just kind of park it at the end. I think I maybe had enough. I was saving pretty hard after, but then yeah, the final caution made it not an issue at all. So yeah, I mean, I just I figured crazy stuff happens here. When I saw Marco was still in the race, I knew that I had to try and get in front of the craziness instead of be behind it. So and sure enough, I was right. So yeah.
Yeah, craziness throughout all 12 weeks, and you did a great job of navigating it and ending up on the podium a lot over this season, and that consistency drove results. How can you tell the viewers at home what you do to stay focused, to avoid that chaos, and keep your mind calm and stay eyes forward on the goal all season long?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's tough, and I never really think that I do that good of a job of that. But what I will say is that at least for me, coming in feeling really, really practiced and kind of very much knowing exactly what I should expect. That's, any time that I don't feel quite prepared or, I'm I've only run one stint on each tire or something, on road. That's when I tend to get flustered. So this time, at least at at Watkins, Lime Rock, some others, Road America too. I think I really put quite a bit of time into just making sure I knew exactly how the balance was going to change over the run and everything, and that more or less, I think, that helped a lot. So yeah, I mean that's basically it.
Well, heck of a
Well,
job.
yeah, those are the countless hours that we mentioned on broadcast. So congratulations.
Heck yeah, Kevin.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for stopping by. You win the trophy. You get the shout outs, my friends. Friends, family, sponsors, anybody you'd like to shout out to, the floor is yours.
Sure, yeah. Obviously, my parents, I'm pretty sure they're watching. I think, obviously, Fiercely Forward, all the guys on the team. Hamilton gave us a banger this week. Too bad I couldn't capitalize, but clearly he showed the power. And yeah, I mean, it obviously, moving Fiercely Forward was a pretty big change. It's definitely a new experience for me, and I was kind of hoping that I could really, get supported by the guys on the team, and they did this season. Obviously, it was big, and I think we're looking real good coming into IIS. Had a good week one in that too, and yeah, of course, all the guys there, P1 Docs as well, and yeah, I mean, I'm stoked. It's really good, and of course, I have to say it, as well as to Adam Blocker, who were battling this season. I know it got heated at times, but the reality is, like I've said before, without the benchmark of someone like him, racing, it's like, what are we even here for, right? You need someone to try and beat, and he was that for me this season. So yeah.
Sure thing, Kevin. Well, thank you so much for joining us in the booth. Go celebrate, keep going fast, having fun, buddy, and we'll see you next season.
Thanks. See you around.
Yes, sir. That is the General Kevin Burrell, and we're going to go ahead and grab second place finisher Andrew Wood, who he wasn't. He was, man. I don't know if there was another driver that was as exciting as you. You more or less scared the mess out of me with your little sideways slide there in turn number one. Talk about your day and how you managed to go from the back to the front twice and wind up in the middle step of the podium.
Yeah, well, I'll start by saying Pocono is a track that I wrestle with a lot. I tend to be halfway good around here, but I don't feel like I'm good when I'm racing at the time. It's really all about trying to find a line that works with your setup, and we were playing around with different wing settings prior to the race start there, and I was told by my teammates to try something a little wild and go very, very low on the rear wing, and I was scared to try what Brophy tried. He was very loose through the whole race, so I'm glad I didn't go as bad as him, but I didn't expect to be the exciting driver to watch tonight at all.
Well, you were worth really the price of admission, buddy.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, and especially like some of the moves I made were very, very high risk, and I did have some netco, especially with Jason there. That was a pretty bad one. Yeah, it was pretty wild, but once I did that spin there, I realized I had to kind of change my in-car settings a little bit, and yeah, I guess it worked out. I didn't expect to come back from 6th to be on the podium. I thought I'd just kind of hang out where I was, but everyone was battling so far up ahead of me in such a crazy way that the spot was there, and I just took it.
Yeah, well, take it you did. Clindy, what have you got for our sometimes colleague, Mr. Wood there?
Well, you brought the 14 machine home, a number steeped with IndyCar history, home in second place today, but it was not without its ups and downs. Obviously, you were able to stay cool and composed, and you made the right adjustments. How much of the team's input did you take when you said, hey, this thing's bucking me in turn 1. What can I do to fix it? Or is it something that you knew how to handle right away?
No, it was definitely nice to have my teammates kind of around and watching and giving me some advice to try different stuff. And yeah, once I had that spin there, I knew I definitely kind of went over the top, and I'm lucky that I didn't wreck the car, honestly. So once we were under the caution, I was able to kind of, like you said, be a little more calm, cool, and composed, and just regroup a little bit. And just I was actually I just wanted to pass like one car, not really thinking that I could go for any sort of podium or even the win there in the last corner. So I really kind of went a little bit conservative on the last 2 laps in particular, and it was just enough for me to kind of squeeze past both Matt Taylor, Matt Hollabaugh there. And
if you call that conservative, I'd love to see what you call flat out, brother. Holy smokes.
Yeah, don't get used to it.
Wood's a pretty calm, cool, and collected guy there, Clindy. Speaking of calm, cool, and collected, you're we love seeing you in the booth. You're still going to be doing the classic INDYCAR Series. When does that start again, Andrew? Give you a chance to plug your own deal.
Yeah, it's the first race is a week and a half from now. I'll be back in the car again, not in the booth. So kind of taking a little rest from commentating there. It's been fun doing those races for the winter series. But yeah, I belong in the car for that series. It's a series I've been in for several years now, so I'm looking forward to the new season. But you'll see me in the booth again for some other series. I got some stuff cooking up here, so we'll see what happens.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much for joining us in the booth, Andrew. Always a pleasure to have you around. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Friends, family, sponsors, anybody you'd like to shout out to, sir? The floor is yours.
Yeah, big shout out to the Power Slide guys, especially the ones that showed up in last second to kind of watch the broadcast and give me a little bit of tips here and there. It's, I'm still, it may sound shocking to a lot of people, but I'm still trying to relearn the car again. I'm not really as confident as I want to be, despite the performance today. But that today was definitely a shot to see that, okay, like I pushed it maybe a little bit too far, and now I can kind of tamp it down a little bit. And I'm looking forward to doing some more of these Monday night races next season. I should be around, especially the time change is gonna help me out making a lot more races, and then I can maybe work on some of my road stuff too. So shout out to my teammates, shout out to you guys. Obviously, P1's putting up some good numbers right now. I think at one point Phil said that there were 49 people watching at one time, which is incredible. So the hard work that this broadcast brings to shed a light on the Monday night IndyCar Series is going to go a long way to really getting people interested in this car again. So I can't be more proud of that.
And, 52 actually was the peak concurrent, by the way.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's such a great thing to see. So we keep this momentum going, and good things are coming down the road. So so shout out to you guys, and shout out to anyone that was watching tonight. And I'm glad I put on a show, and hopefully people saw a little bit of wild side of me, which may never be seen again. So we'll have to see what happens.
All right, Andrew. Well, I'll tell you what, no matter what happens, keep going fast and having fun, brother. We'll see you for sure.
Yeah, and I'll see you tomorrow night for the Area 51 series.
Yeah, we might get to do this again. It's at Texas. I don't know how good I am at Texas anymore, but we'll see, right?
Yeah, it's Texas is one that I always like to put in the back the back mirror there. So good luck to you tomorrow night, and hopefully I'll get to talk to you flipped roles there. So
absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. We'll let you get on and celebrate your middle step of the podium finish. And for the man of the hour, we've got Hamilton Akabuezi in the booth. Hamilton, you did the worst to first, I believe, twice in this one. Planned or not planned?
definitely planned. I mean, yeah, I knew it was so cold. It's like packy. I thought, like, once I did the P1 dock set, I didn't touch Q. Like, I didn't bother even like trying to make it any better like the whole rest of the week, because like why even, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I was just here, have some fun, starting the back. It's worked in the past. I just like starting last like most of the time when I race. It's more fun. Yeah, this season I have an average start of like 20. So but yeah. I mean, making it through the field wasn't too bad. Like people are just very scared of running the bottom, and so they just leave it wide open for me to take like big dives down, and you can clear them by exit just because of how much clean air is down there. But yeah, I mean, I had fun for sure.
Yeah, it looked like you were having fun. Kind of tell us about some of the racing you saw. Did you think it got wild in the pack, or was everybody pretty well behaved?
There was a moment there where it was a little wild, but then they dealt with themselves rather quickly. So then that cleaned it up a bit. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, the people I was mainly racing against kind of just like got unlucky, or like just kind of hurt them. Like Sudik got killed, Marco killed the wall and killed Sudik, Jesper killed the wall out of 3, Jason gets wrecked by massive netcode, Wood gets loose.
Yeah, that was some of the most.
point.
You want to talk about netcode? Yeah. You could have fit a whole car through there.
Yeah, so I didn't have to do too much because people just kept like, some unfortunate would happen, and they cleared a path for me. But yeah.
Well, there you go.
We were good though.
A win's a win, brother. Clindy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hamilton, I know that you put up the set for Fiercely Forward at P1 today, or for this week. How many changes do you make to your own machine versus what you sell on P1docs.com?
Well, I mean,
and if it's a trade secret, feel free to
normally
disclose.
I make some like throughout the week. Like, yeah.
And that can be by feel
throughout
too.
the
That
week.
can be driver specific.
Yeah.
So don't think he's withholding stuff.
Oh no. I mean, yeah. Throughout the week, I normally make like a good few changes depending on how I feel. Like maybe we'll get a group test, and that'll lead to something. Christian does the same for road. I mean, but this week, I mean, Q didn't touch it from what P1 Docs was. Like, couldn't be bothered. It's final race of the season. It's gonna be cold. Like, only change we did to the race set was add some right front camber, but that was literally it. Ran P1 Docs basically as is. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, congratulations on the win. As always, you are stout when you're in the field, and so we love having you around. Friends, family, sponsors, anybody you'd like to shout out to, my man. You win the final race. You get the final words for going. You get the final word going into the break, my man.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Kevin and Sam. Kevin for winning the season championship. It's cool for him for sure. But yeah, I mean. And then, yeah, shout out to the P1 Doc stuff me and Christian do. Like, I know, yeah, there are definitely good mad people in there running it, which makes me happy. So that's good.
100%. Well, Hamilton, thank you so much for joining us. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy, and we will see you in a couple of weeks, I hope.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, sir. Hamilton Akabwezi, he's going to bring it home with the win tonight. And Clindy, man, I tell you what, we had the technical glitches early, and I think I want to first of all thank everybody that stuck with the broadcast until about 2 minutes before we actually got on the air. I didn't even know that we were going to be able to go live for this thing, and we were able to do it, and we got treated to one heck of a show. So thank you so much to everybody that stuck with us through the troubles. We had a huge number of viewers here for one of these races. And so, just from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everybody watching. Clindy, I know you probably feel the same. It's been a wild ride for this first season, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've had an absolute blast in the booth, and I'm glad that the on-track action has been just as good as your company, Murph. It's really been a win-win for me. I cannot wait to get back and see it all again in Season 2 with new venues and hopefully new competitors.
You know, and speaking of the new venues, new competitors, and a new season, we are pleased to announce that we are coming back, Clindy. So March 17th, mark your calendar. We will be back on the air with this. It is a 2-week break. No racing next week, at least on the official side. So Monday and Tuesday are going to be off the air next week, as iRacing takes the week to, as they do every 12 weeks. They take the week off, and they're gonna revamp some stuff, update the sim, update the cars. They do that every 12 weeks, and so next week is a week off. No broadcast Monday or Tuesday, but I assure you, Kyle Clinworth and I will be back Monday, March the 17th, to cover the action right here at 7 o'clock on the P1 Broadcasting Network. For Gary Godso, Kyle Clinworth, Andrew Wood, who you heard from, and all of the people at the P1 Broadcasting Network, we want to thank the fans. You all out there have been incredible throughout this journey. And we do thank you. If you have not already done so, make sure you hit the like on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel. Those are the 2 easiest and best things that you can do to help support the channel and keep it growing and keep this community growing as we grow along with it. We would also like to thank all of the competitors. Throughout 12 weeks, we had nothing but awesome action. There were some races that may have seemed boring, but none of it was boring if you knew where to look. And so I want to thank everybody that showed up and participated, whether you were here 12 weeks, whether you were here for one. And finally, we would like to give a shout out and our own special thanks to all the first responders, the military, the police, the fire, the EMS, all the people that do the hard work at night so that we can sleep safe in our beds. We thank you so much. Clindy, you got to go race, baby.
Yeah, gonna go try to lock up this championship in the ISRA. So tune into that next on P1 Broadcasting. And other than that, I'm going to be out of here, and I wish everyone in the chat and still watching a great night and a great season 2.
100%. We will see you in 2 weeks, gang.